Greetings and welcome back to Room 303 in our chats with Emily, as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are in the Johnson edition. We turn out a poem 705. Suspense is hostiler than death. Hostile only used one time in all of her poetry, and it's here. Emily, the great poet of anxiety. Emily, the great poet of suspense and concern. The poem here is as well another heaven poem. Consideration of afterlife and the anxiety associated with it. I suggested this to my Emily Club that's helping me put together many of these lectures, that today's readers sometimes struggle with understanding the way in which Emily is constantly concerned with the question of, is there life after death, and is there such a thing as a heaven and a hell? She's, of course, raised and is, for much of her early life, probably a believer of heaven and hell in the afterlife. She knows her Dante, and to that degree, it is for her the penultimate question. Okay, everyone must die, but then what comes afterwards? That leads to a certain level of, she uses the word here, suspense, uncertainty. Now, our assumption is that you've been following our stuff at learnstrong.net. Down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily as our playlist. I'm hopeful that you worked through our set of introductory comments where we commented on Emily and her upbringing, especially within that Congregationalist theological milieu, as well as the preceding 704 poems. We just finished with 704, No Matter Now, Sweet. And the question of afterlife and heaven as being somehow more compelling than even death itself, and obviously the fear that can attend that kind of questioning, is central to our reading of this poem. She says it this way: suspense is hostiler than death. Death, the soever broad, is just death and cannot increase. Suspense does not conclude, but perishes to life anew, but just anew to die. Annihilation, plated fresh with immortality. This idea plated, to be covered in some way. She'll begin, of course, with the idea, what's worse than death? The worry about death. Hostiler, by the way, only used once, and she uses it here. She'll mention death, as we said, in 135 of her poems. Then she says it, that death, thowsoever broad, is just death. I mean, it is obviously uncomfortable, but it can't increase. In other words, when you're dead, you're dead. Right? It's not like you can be more dead, if you will. But suspense, well, suspense does not conclude. The worry, the concern, what is it that this life is about, but what is it that the afterlife or post-mortem is about? But, and notice her use of this word but. One scholar has commented that her use of the word but here keeps the reader circling back to the poet's subject. You'll maybe remember she plays this same game with the word but when we did 415. Sunset at night is natural, but sunset on the dawn reverses nature. Master, so midnights do at noon. Eclipses be predicted, and science bows them in. But do one face us suddenly? Jehovah's watch is wrong. Notice her use of the word but here. But perishes to live anew, right? Suspense. It can go away, but then it comes back. But just anew to die. And then she'll say it. Annihilation, dash, plated fresh with immortality, dash. The idea that we start to think about the afterlife and the question of immortality and annihilation and death. And so which is it? I think at 2a, the point here she's making is that uncertainty can in fact be worse than the certainty of death. At 2b, well, the word choice here, like hostilers, is remarkable. At 3a, I mentioned her use of the word but in 415, very similar. Obviously, Dante's Divine Commedia comes to mind with a poem like this as well. Finally, at 3b, when was a time that suspense, quote-unquote, killed you? It was way worse to be uncertain. Thank you.